Hey y'all, what's up and welcome back to craft season.
Here we go once again for the ladies.
Okay, so as promised, I am back with my second trimester video. I know it took me quite some time, but like the second trimester was crazy. And also I just don't have the discipline. Like running the channel is really difficult for me for some reason, like consistency. All the YouTubers out there know about how hard it is to be consistent. But I'm back, and today I have a really long list, and so I'm gonna try to run through them really fast and not go into just too much because I know I can be long-winded. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I am currently out of my second trimester, and so this is why I wanted to make the video to talk about all of my experiences for you guys, and so y'all can just maybe we can compare experiences. You can maybe tell me some things that you missed, but also if you're pregnant or whatever, for you to be able to hear some things, you know, some things that maybe you can look forward to. One of the things that's really helped me during my pregnancy is talking to people who are further along than I am, or who have just recently had a baby. It helps me feel a little bit more at ease, like, oh, okay, so these are some things I can look forward to or whatever. So let's get into it. Okay, so first thing I have on here is the registry. So once I got into my second trimester, I was really like excited to start a registry. I wanted to wait until after I knew what the gender was, but some stuff you just can already start putting on there, like what kind of bottles you want to use, maybe like, you know, certain boppy pillows or just anything. And so I did started a little early, but for the most part I kind of waited. But I used Babylist. So Babylist is this really cool app that's specifically for registries. It's easy to send stuff to people. You can add stuff from different websites. So I was able to add from Amazon, Target, Walmart, from the Babylist store, from Bye Bye Baby. If you add something on there, it tells you where are the other places you can buy them from and how much it is at all the other places. And so that's really cool. And then it has you can put your address in, and you can send you can have your people send your gift straight to your house. So I know everybody doesn't go to the baby shower, or maybe some people fly in, or whatever the case is. So that was really convenient for me to not have to constantly send my address to everybody, and then constantly send to like different registries to everybody. Everything was done on Babylist, and then they could type my name in, so that was really nice. So making mom friends, like I just talked about a second ago, that's been a big thing for me. It's been so fun. So I do have an app. It's called Peanut. I think I talked about it in the first video. It's really cute. You can talk a little bit here and there, make blog posts, and there's like a little swipe left right function, kind of like a dating app, where you can like make mom friends in your area. I didn't care for that part just because I was like, I don't know these people, but making mom friends with people that I do know was a little bit more fun. So I have friends who like sisters are pregnant, or people maybe I went to school with are pregnant at the same time as I am, and you know, maybe we follow each other on social media. Well, now during this time we've been able to talk a little bit more and just discuss our own our experiences with each other and like check in on each other. So that's been really cool. A couple of the girls who are pregnant now, I would say I know who they are. Like I said, we follow each other on social media, but we never really spoke like that. And now we talk all the time, like, oh, okay, how's this going? What about this? What about that? So I think that's super important and super fun. Don't be afraid to reach out to other people that you see are pregnant, because like pregnant, we kind of all want to talk about it, you know, like I want to talk. So that's really nice. So stress during the pregnancy, oh my god. The second trimester was, so everybody says the second trimester is like your smooth sailing period. For me, that was not the case. So yeah, there was no more nausea, which was great, but I was trying to plan, and so that was very stressful. So there was a lot of like gender reveal planning, and just like we had a winter storm. Y'all know I'm from Houston, so we had a winter storm, so that was pretty stressful. And then trying to like plan stuff around that, thinking about names at this time, you know, stressing over what the gender is, like all of those things happen. And so to me, my biggest thing would be, and everybody keeps telling you, don't stress, you're gonna, you know, you're pregnant. It's just like, that's typically not how stress works, but okay. So that was definitely a thing that I dealt with. during this time. And my biggest advice is really just to plan in advance. So plan as much as you can. Like I said, if you want to start a registry, you know the gender, put the diapers on there, start it up. Make a list of names, a couple of names on both sides. I personally didn't have a lot of names for boys because I wanted a girl, so I know sometimes that's hard, but making lists of stuff you can already get. Hospital, you need a hospital bag, stuff like that. So definitely that. Okay, so maternity clothes and shoes, and that was another thing I think I was stressing about. But your body is going to do a lot of changing, and like during the second trimester is when I experienced a lot of that change, and my boobs got a lot bigger, my butt got bigger, just a lot of different things. And so it's already stressful to see yourself in a different, see yourself looking different. So that was kind of like, but I definitely would suggest a maternity haul. So I did one, or buy maternity clothes. So I did a maternity haul on my channel. Make sure you go check that one out if you haven't already done it. I did it from Shein, and the clothes weren't super expensive, and I like that. But find you some websites with clothes that you like, some comfortable things, with some things you also can still be cute in. Your jeans are not going to continue to fit, so that's just what happens. And so finding stuff that actually fits you and that you like, a variety of stuff, is going to be super, 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 super important. So make sure you do that. Shoes, get you some Crocs, get you some bigger sandals. Your feet are gonna begin to swell eventually, so like some of these things you can like do in advance, and they won't be so stressful because you already have them done. Yeah. Belly butter. As your body continues to stretch, you will get stretch marks. But you can prevent this or like minimize this by getting belly butter. I think that they all work. I know that my doctor told me something about like make sure they have like shea butter in it, or like some natural oils or something. I think the key is keeping your belly moisturized. A mom actually told me make sure you like use it after you got the shower, so when the water is warm your pores are a little bit more open, and so like you can get the moisture in there. And so I just bought some belly butter. I think it's by Burt's Bees maybe, but I don't think that it really matters, so just get you something. Okay, so during your second trimester, this is going to be a perfect time to think about what your job has to offer. So I know during the first trimester, sometimes like I was a person who wanted to wait until the first trimester was over to tell everybody that I was pregnant, just because I wanted to make sure that all the higher risk things were out of the way. So during your second trimester, now you can start telling people and getting your things in order, such as like your job or maternity leave. So checking your job's maternity leave. You can find maternity leave stuff under the disability in your like handbook or whatever. It's going to be under disabilities. Pregnancy is a disability, I suppose, but nobody gave me a handicap sticker, so I don't know. We need to figure that out. But you can find all that on there, or you can just like email your HR or whatever, and they'll tell you what to do. But check on your maternity leave. What are the benefits? How much do they give you? How much do they pay for how long? All that stuff. And then also checking on your FMLA. Like getting the form and stuff signed by your doctor. So all of that stuff is really important. And my doctor actually told me that sometimes they only give you a certain amount of days. Some jobs, I guess in her experience, only give you a certain amount of days to fill stuff out, and so you kind of want to ask for that stuff early. So I would definitely, when I announce it to my job or whatever, would ask, hey, and also can I have the FMLA forms, because you want to, like I said, get all that stuff out the way and then not to be stressed. So speaking of doctors, during the second trimester, I feel like I had so many random tests, like, hey, drink this sugary drink and let's see if how the baby reacts to it. Let's make sure you don't have diabetes. Let's make sure you don't have any of these STDs. So there's a lot of different stuff, and that was so random. Nothing you can do about that, but just kind of prepare yourself. Like, I would go to the doctor and they'd be like, oh, you're getting this done today. I wouldn't even know. And I really like my doctor. I think they do a really good job. But I think that's just what happens. I even remember like going to the doctor and they're like, oh, today you're getting a Tdap vaccine, and I'm like, oh, I am. So you can, a lot of this stuff I think is pretty standard, so you can look it up at this appointment, at that appointment. But to me it was very random because I never looked that stuff up. Okay, so physical things, cravings. Everybody asks, this is one of the like more popular questions I've gotten. What are you craving? Craving anything crazy? Not me specifically. Like, I like to go to Smoothie King a lot now, and I had never been to Smoothie King before, so I drink smoothies all the time. That pineapple syrup is amazing. So I drink smoothies all the time. I like frozen drinks in general now all the time. I don't know. But I haven't had any weird cravings, which is like, oh, because everybody always has the stories about like, yes, I used to love pickles and peanut butter, and I'm like, yeah, no, I just ate when I ate. I actually think that my eating habits, I don't think that they, during this second trimester, that they gave like pregnant energy at all. So everybody's body is different. Don't think anything of it. Always talk to your doctor before you come to any crazy conclusions about what all this stuff means. But honestly, I just ate when I ate. It wasn't that crazy. I didn't eat a lot, and I didn't have crazy cravings. I also got to feel kicks during the second trimester, so that's really fun. At first, I would say they feel like, okay, so everybody kept saying flutters, but I feel like it's kind of more like a stomach growling type thing, or like a gas maybe type situation. So I remember thinking like, oh, was that a kick earlier, or like I don't know. So it was kind of weird, but I didn't really feel like, I couldn't tell it was a kick. So I think a lot of times like people think like, oh, have you been feeling a baby kick? Have you been feeling this? And I'm like, I don't know, because this is my first baby. I don't know what that feels like until I knew. So like early I couldn't feel it, but like towards the end of the trimester I'm like, oh, that's definitely a kick. Oh, that's definitely a, you know, a punch or whatever they're doing. So it just depends. I didn't have any nausea during the second trimester, so that was definitely a blessing. I was terribly sick during the first trimester. Like I just feel like I was vomiting all the time. During the second trimester, it was just gone like magic. So that was really, that was a plus for sure. So another physical thing that I think people don't talk about a lot is you don't have the energy, and I guess it's not safe for the baby to do as many of the things you used to do. So I wasn't able to like move a lot of stuff, pick up a lot of stuff. That was very stressful for me, because I'm a person who like, I have to get it done. I'm very independent. When I moved into my apartment, I was like putting together all my shelves and moving them myself, packing the boxes up and down the stairs. During this pregnancy, I wasn't able to do any of those things. So anything I wanted to buy or that people were sending me, I had to like be very careful and like make sure it wasn't too heavy, not picking up anything over like 10 pounds or something ridiculous. Not being able to like run to like the store, have a day where I'm going to store, like everything had to be, my energy had to be conserved, and that was like really different than what I'm used to. And so I don't even have any advice for that. I would just say to be mindful that that's probably going to happen to you. And so the more help that you ask for, I guess the more help you can possibly receive. So for example, water. I lived on the 3rd floor, and so water was a big thing for me. Like I would have to buy the like bigger bottles of water rather than like a 32 pack or 24 pack, just because I didn't have anybody to pack them up the stairs for me, because I was living alone during the second trimester. And so really stressful, whatever. But knowing I could like ask somebody, hey, you know, when you come over, can you bring me a pack of water and I'll send you the money, or whatever it is. Or asking the people at the store to like bring it to my car, and then when I come out of my car, like putting 2 or 3 water bottles in there, you know. So that was the thing. And even just like grocery shopping, I had to grocery shop more often because I couldn't bring as many groceries in at one time. So it was like maybe I would have 3 or 4 bags of groceries rather than maybe like the 7 or 8 I normally would have. And so again, a lot of stuff was different. I would definitely recommend like a curbside or some store. Those were the apps like that too. If you can afford it. I know it's like another expense, but if you can afford it, I would recommend that, because I just feel like it was a hassle not being able to like do the regular things you would do. So it's definitely a lifestyle change even before the baby gets here. Okay, so budgeting. Like I said, if you can afford certain things, you should do them, I guess. So like I could go and spend $30 on groceries and go pick it up. Well, now it's a little bit more difficult, so maybe I spend, you know, $45 to $50 and have somebody send it. I don't know, I never did curbside, so I don't know the actual prices, but I know it costs a little bit more. But maybe stuff like that. you're gonna have to budget. So there's gonna be a gender reveal you want to have, a baby shower you need to plan for, these kind of things. Everybody doesn't have the luxury of having somebody to throw them baby showers or reveals, or you know, buy a lot of stuff for the nursery or whatever the case is. But all of that stuff needs to start happening now in the second trimester, because in the third trimester you won't be able to do a lot of stuff. You're gonna feel like so much bigger, so much more tired. We know all these, you know, all the stuff they tell us. So like, I would definitely set a budget for this time, especially like there's a lot of stuff like food. Like towards the end of my second trimester, I did start to pick up on my eating habits, or like stuff that I would want. Like I guess I had cravings, but they weren't like crazy cravings, but I wanted it immediately, you know. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to Target, I'm gonna give me a cake, what, you know, like. And so that's like stuff that's not normally in my food budget. And so I would definitely say budgeting, maybe not shopping at Amazon so much, maybe shopping on some, you know, more discount stuff when you're looking for your clothes and stuff like that, especially if you're buying bigger clothes because you're pregnant, because we know that we probably won't wear them anymore. So okay, so something really funny that somebody asked me was, do I already feel like I love my baby? She said that she had saw a post or something where somebody was talking about it, and she thought it was interesting, because a lot of people say like, oh, from the first day I ever met you, or the first day I knew I was pregnant, I was in love with you, I just want to put out there that it's totally normal to not feel this like emotional love for a human that you haven't met yet, you know what I mean? For me personally, I immediately felt a sense of responsibility. So I was living in a 1-bedroom on the 3rd floor. I immediately was like, is it going to be the best for me to be going up and down 3 flights of stairs with a newborn? Pregnancy is a lifestyle change. You know, obviously, you know, my partner and I are going to have to now move in together and do stuff like that. So, okay, now that's another thing I have to think about. That maybe we wouldn't have thought about for another year or so. Who knows? And so I felt it in me. I immediately felt like a mom. I'll say that. I immediately felt like, okay, I now have responsibility for another person. So like I said, I need to move. I need to find a nice apartment. I need to make sure that it's, you know, safe, that I feel comfortable raising a child in it. I need to make sure that I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing too much stuff. We're still in a pandemic. I had to make sure that I limited my exposure to a lot of people. And so I definitely immediately felt that. But did I immediately feel like, oh my God, I love this baby so much? Well, I haven't met the baby yet. And so for me, I think I want to put that out there. I thought it was a really funny question when she asked. I actually bust out laughing. But when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, no, like I don't immediately feel like, oh my God, I just love you so much. You're the most amazing person. You know, but I do feel like as the time gets closer, so I am now in my 3rd trimester, a lot closer to pregnancy, and I think I am now. I'm more like, oh my God, I just love the baby, I just can't wait to meet the baby, and and you know, now I found a name, and now this, you know, so there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. But I do think it's totally natural if you're like, if you don't fall in love with your child until you meet them. I think that's natural. So that was a really good question. So thinking about friends and things like that, another piece of advice I would give is to keep some stuff to yourself. Like, keep some stuff between you and your partner, because people can be insensitive if they haven't had children or never been pregnant, and I don't think they know they're insensitive, right? So things like, you know, me saying, man, you know, in my last pregnancy, you know, I just was able to do all these things and now I can't do it. And they're like, yeah, because you're pregnant, you need to sit down. And it's like, they mean well, but that's insensitive, because I'm expressing, you know, like one of the things that I'm going through, and it's just like, you just need to sit down, you know. Or like, even, you know, I'm trying to pack things up and down the stairs, or, you know, maybe have my bag, you know, and my partner is like, yeah, you need to, you know, like stuff like that. Like, you always trying to do something, you know, stuff like that is just like, oh, it's a lot. Telling your people will ask you about names, and you'll tell them a name, and they're like, I don't know. Very insensitive, you know. They're like, I don't really feel like it. You asked me what I was thinking, and then you gave me your opinion as to sway it, like, oh yeah, because I went to high school with a person named such and such, and I think that it's, and it just reminds me of. And the thing about it is, if you're my friend or my family member or whatever, when you hear the name of the child, the name that I choose, you're gonna think of the child, not this random person that you don't even talk to anymore. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, I'm like, there's just some things you should keep to yourself. Create a little boundary, because like we're pregnant, we're sensitive right now. So you really do want to be able to say, hey, no, we're not telling anybody right now, or we just decided to keep that to ourselves, and that's okay. People will understand that. What they don't, or what they won't understand, is you being pissed because they told you they don't like the name Bartholomew. So I don't know. I would say that's definitely on my top list of things. Even like, hey, my feet are swelling, or like, oh girl, my feet are swollen. People will say like, well, what have you been eating? And it's like, I mean, I am the only person in control of my body besides the baby at this point. It's just me and the baby, and so people automatically will think like, what have you been doing to cause these things? Well, this happened to me. Okay, well, girl, were you having sex? Well, this is what. Well, okay, well, you kind of did a lot yesterday. People think that that they have that they know what's going on a lot of times, and half the time they don't. A lot of times it's going to be your friends who've never even had kids, and so they're just like pulling at strings or whatever. So I would say keep some things to yourself. Like, have that moment. People will ask you certain things. Well, hey, what are you thinking about doing for work now? Are you going to do this? Are you going to breastfeed? Are you going to have a natural birth? And it's like, well, some people aren't able to have a natural birth, and now I'm going to have to say either lie or tell you, well, no, I'm not going to, because I have this going on. Like, that's really not anybody's business, but they're going to ask you. And so I would just say, oh no, I'm just, we're just deciding, or we're not discussing those kind of things, because sometimes it is hard. And for everybody who's watching this, who are like everybody who don't have children, and y'all just like watching pregnancy videos, or y'all just like watching me, keep that in mind when you're talking to your pregnant friends, that they will give you the information that they want to give you. If they want to talk about it, they'll talk about it. But a lot of questions are very invasive, just because it's not your business, or whatever. And so like kind of keeping that in mind and being sensitive. One of my friends actually told me, so I made a video recently about how I went to Smoothie King and like something ridiculous happened. I was so mad. I was screaming on the camera. I was like so mad. Of course I'm pregnant. And she said that she typed in like, well yeah girl, you're pregnant. And then she thought about it and was like insensitive, and she deleted it. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes I do get stuff and people are like, okay girl, yeah, you're pregnant. And I'm like, okay, but what happened at the place is still unacceptable. I'm just more upset about it because I'm pregnant. So stuff like that is just like, it's really, it becomes annoying. Remember that we're pregnant for like, people, they say 9 months, but every time I count and do the math, it's 10 months. I just don't know how it goes. But we're pregnant for a long time, and then your body is like doing its own thing. And so, yeah, we can be very sensitive. And I'm like, this part was a little long, of course, because I am super sensitive right now about everything. So definitely I would say keep some of your stuff to yourself, sis. You're able to. So yeah, and then choosing who to say what to. So of course, I'm a person who likes to talk, so I got a channel. So I don't talk to all of my friends about all of the same stuff, or I don't talk to all of my friends about the pregnancy as much in detail, because I'm just like, I know that maybe the way that the way that you give advice or the way that you respond is not the best for me, or I don't like it. And so you have to choose who you can say what to, who you can have more conversations with. Not to say that these other people aren't good friends or whatever, but you have to choose what's best for yourself and what's best for the baby at this time. And so yeah, that's going to be really, really important. Okay, yes, so the gender reveal, I want to skip that at the end so that I can have a little gender reveal insert. So yes, one of the things that was a big thing during the second trimester, and then I would say, of course, I guess during the third trimester, like a baby shower, but the big thing during the second trimester was a gender reveal. And so trying to choose a date that works with like my parents and my partner's parents, and trying to choose a location, because we're from different cities, and so our families live in different cities. Trying to choose, is it going to be inside or outside? What's the theme going to be? Do we throw it ourselves? How much money do we want to spend on it? All that kind of stuff. And then if you have a baby in the spring or summer-ish time, like, so I'm do in the summer, but of course like the second trimester is springtime. Well, trying to decide, okay, well, is it gonna rain? Do you want to have inside versus outside? So because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, I was like, outside is gonna be better. But then it was like, it was supposed to rain one day. I think it was still cold one day. You want to plan stuff in the head, like in advance. So it's just kind of like, it's very difficult. So that was like a really, really big thing. Then you also have to think about what type of people y'all are. So this kind of goes back to what I said about the choosing who you talk to. So I wanted to have a gender reveal. I wanted a girl really badly, so much that I think I persuaded my partner to want a girl. And so talking to some people, they're like, oh, well, you know, are you gonna be mad if it's not a girl? Because, like, you know, that's not da-da-da-da, and like all that kind of stuff. And you're just like, how am I supposed to know that? You know what I mean? Like, how can I give you the answer if, you know, like, obviously, or hopefully I don't kick over a table, but in the event that I do, I'm also pregnant. Like, though it's not probably tasteful, I'm pregnant and I'm emotional and I want something, and, you know, whatever. So people cry, think these things happen or whatever. Let me have the moment. Like, who cares? You know, I've invited you into my space that I'm doing. If I want to cry, it's my party, I'll cry if I want to, type energy. So I would definitely say gender reveal was like a really, really, really big thing with the second trimester. But in my case, it ended up going really, really well. I'm a planner. Like, my actual job, I plan and like organize programs, and so that was really fun for me to actually do. It did become stressful just because it's like in a big event, and you know, you gotta do this and do that and buy this and buy that, but it was really fun. Like, at the end, I really had a good time. I'll insert a video right here of some of the stuff that I did and like the gender and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so yes, I am having a boy. I'm so excited now. I'll be candid, I wanted a girl so badly. I mean, as y'all can see from the video, there was a moment of like, you know, but it was more about us thinking, and I mean, I wanted a boy so bad that I even think that my partner wanted a boy. I mean, I wanted a girl so bad, I think my partner wanted a girl, because I did. Like, for the first, you know, the whole like first trimester through that time, he was kind of like, oh, I don't care what it is, like, I'm fine with either way. But I think that I was like, oh, if we have a girl, and I was seeing all these like videos and stuff, and so I think that I kind of like made him want a girl too. And so there was a moment of like shock and like, you know, a little like twinge of disappointment in the video. But again, it was more about like, we were like, we really thought we were having a girl, that's crazy. But again, we were like super, super happy. I think one thing about the gender reveal is, and this goes back into me saying how people will like, you know, tell you stuff or like have their opinions, whatever, and you keep some stuff to yourself. People asked me questions. I mean, people were like, well, if it's a boy, are you gonna like, you know, are you gonna cry? Are you gonna feel like this? And I'm like, how can I possibly tell you how I'm gonna feel? Hopefully I don't flip the whole freaking table over, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna be like really sad or if I'm gonna cry or whatever. No, it's not the most tasteful thing, but I'm also pregnant and I'm going through, you know, all these hormones and all this stuff. So yes, it happens sometimes. Yeah, luckily though, didn't happen for me. Like I said, I was like, and then it was just like, okay, whatever. And I enjoyed the rest of the party. I had a great time. We really were just shocked, like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, it was just a fun experience. I think we didn't have a lot of boy names, because like my partner was like, oh, I feel like I met this guy who I played football with, this person, or I did this and I did that, and it was always like, so you don't like no names, like what the heck, you know. And so that was stressful kind of, but it ended up still being a good, you know, like a good, we were able to say, okay, well, here's some names we can go with, and here's like a theme of a name we can choose and stuff like that. And so it's always so fun. For me, I wanted to be able to dress my daughter up. I wanted to be able to do her hair. I wanted to, you know, dress alike. Well, those are things that can still happen with boys. Boys can have hair. They can have really cute haircuts. We can still dress alike. He can also dress like his dad. And I also think it's going to be nice to the experience of raising a man, a young boy into a man, the type of man that I would like to see in the world. And so I think that's going to be really, really fun. So just a lot of different things. in general, I think the gender reveal was like definitely the big thing for the second trimester, like the big event. I thought it was so fun. I would definitely say make a budget for sure, but I would definitely say like a gender reveal is really a fun thing for your second trimester, and to be able to document that experience. Make sure you pick a person who you know is going to not say anything, who you know is going to think about what you like. So one of my friends told me that she had done a gender reveal for her friend, and she like tricked her, and it was like all pink balloons and then one blue balloon at the bottom, and then everybody was like, wait, what's going on? And then they all looked at her, she was like, oh yeah, it's a boy. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't want that. So that was like a good experience for her. For me, it was like, I want to pop the smoke or do whatever I do, and not be tricked. I don't like trickery, you know, or I don't want, you know, whatever. So you kind of have to like make sure that your people know you. But yeah, all that stuff is really important. But it can be very fun. So I would say that's just like the funnest thing that I experienced during my second trimester. I would also just say that I would end the video saying that your gender reveal and all that kind of stuff, once that happens, like that's like the, you know, like I said, the big event for the second trimester. But remember that the biggest thing during your second trimester should be really planning and trying to get some stuff, you know, handled now, thinking about all the stuff that's to come, because the third trimester, you know, we hear that it comes with like all of the, you're very tired, you're so much bigger, now you don't know when the, you know, baby can come at any time, all kind of stuff like that. And so you really want to make sure that you spend that second trimester, especially for those, some of the apps I read, they said the second trimester was going to be like the easier, smooth sailing time, and then when you get to that third trimester, it's like get the baby out of me. And so make sure you're planning for that third trimester, the woes of that third trimester. So nurseries, shoots, and all that kind of stuff, because you just never know how you're gonna feel. And then with all your body changes, your nose may spread, your lips may get bigger, you know, maybe some of your skin gets darker or discolored or whatever case is, where you really want to look how you normally would look, right? And so I feel like I've seen some facial features of mine that have gotten bigger, or just changed in general, and I'm like, who is that person? I just do not look like this. And so that's a different thing that you you know, you don't want to have to deal with during your pictures or during when you're making all these videos for all this stuff. And so what I would say is plan your ass off during that second trimester. It's gonna be so important. Again, keeping some of your things to yourself, making sure that you're creating a safe space for you and your baby, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things. They say that your baby can feel and hear and, you know, eat, you know, experience everything you're experiencing, and you want to make sure that that's all good. So like for me, for example, one thing that I really tried to do, besides, you know, a couple of little situations where I was upset, you know, you really want to try your best to not allow things to upset you as much, just because you want to like create a nice non-hostile environment for your womb. So I read that somewhere that like you're, you know, you can, you know, if you're having, I don't know, some stuff like, you know, I was just a very moody and I was a mean person in my pregnancy and my baby came out so mean, whatever. I don't know how true that stuff is, but in the off chance that it is true, you want to make sure that you're creating the best space for your baby as possible. So I try to remain happy. I don't surround myself with people who I know irritate me easily, or I choose who I want to talk to about certain stuff, because I don't want to be irritated. So that stuff is really important. Make sure you do all those things, like I said, making sure that you're not around people who are insensitive to your pregnancy, because that's just how they are, or if you are around those people, making sure that you tell them like, hey girl, I didn't like that, or you know, like that wasn't whatever. So advocate for yourself, because now is the time that you start to advocate for your baby. Other than that, enjoy that second trimester, because they say the hell comes in the third trimester when you're ready for the baby to come on up out of there. Thanks again for coming back to my channel. Last couple of things, I'm gonna try to remember to put the links to Babylist. That's the registry app, and then Peanut is like the mommy blogging app. I'm gonna try, but I'm really bad at that. Make sure that you check those apps out. And when it's time for you to start thinking about, which I guess the time is during your second trimester, start thinking about your nursery, start thinking about your maternity pictures and all that kind of stuff that you want to do. Use Pinterest and use Google. So I'll go to Pinterest and I'll say, oh, boy, mom, maternity shoot outfits, or boy, mom, maternity poses, or whatever. And I'll look on some stuff on there, pin some stuff, and then I'll go to Google and I'll type the same thing in, because like sometimes different stuff comes up, especially if you're a black woman or like a woman of color, like any kind of woman of color. Sometimes typing in black girl on Pinterest, it doesn't, a lot of stuff doesn't always come up as black girls. And maybe a black dress will come up and I'm like, what? And so I'll go to Google and I'll type in like black girl maternity shoot, you know, or black girl maternity shoot in blue or in green or whatever type of color you want, and that kind of stuff comes up on Google too. So like utilize Google, utilize Pinterest, use those apps for sure. And just make sure that you're planning and creating a safe space. That's the best advice I can give you for that second trimester video. I hope the video wasn't too long and I wasn't talking too fast. I know I talk fast, but I'm like, there's a lot of information that you want me to get out there, girl. So here I am, getting it out there just like that. So thank y'all again for coming. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you get my bell to ring. All that kind of stuff that I'll be saying, make sure y'all do that. Okay? I need all the follows. And I am trying my darndest to get the videos out to y'all as fast as possible. But once again, the consistency is just not there, boo. I don't know. Please comment below. Tell me what type of stuff y'all want to see. Especially now that I'm getting so close to that due date. Because I do want to make sure I give y'all some content, some baby content too. So I don't want to go 6 months and be like, hey y'all, you know, whatever. So make sure y'all let me know what y'all want to see. I'm going to try my best to do it. I really appreciate all the love and support. Yeah.